The fight ended. Jake Paul lost. Cameras shut off. The world moved on. But 3 days later, Anthony Joshua's car was destroyed in a violent accident, killing Sina Gami and Latif Ayadil, which were family to Joshua. Their deaths left a dark void in his camp loss that follows a fighter into the ring. And suddenly, the internet stopped asking, "Is Joshua okay?" and started asking something far darker. Did Jake Paul do this? It's not a coincidence. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the world blamed one man and why this accusation refuses to disappear. What really happened in the ring before the accident? There was humiliation. When Jake Paul walked into the ring against Anthony Joshua, this wasn't just another crossover fight. This was reality catching up. From the opening round, something felt wrong for Jake. The confidence wasn't there. The control wasn't there. Joshua didn't rush. He didn't showboat. He dismantled him. Round by round, the myth cracked. And when the final bell rang, the cameras captured something rare. A man built on winning, standing in silence. Jake Paul had lost. Cleanly. Publicly. And for the first time, millions saw what losing looked like on his face. The fight ended. The arena emptied. Social media moved on. But Jake didn't. Fans noticed it immediately. No jokes, no trolling, no instant spin. Then 3 days later, breaking news interrupted everything. Anthony Joshua's car was destroyed in a violent accident. The boxing world froze. At first, it was concern, relief when Joshua survived. And then the mood shifted because the timeline felt wrong. Why the world blamed Jake Paul? The internet doesn't wait for investigations. It reacts to emotion. And the emotion was simple. Jake Paul had just suffered the most damaging loss of his career. Comments flooded in. He snapped. That loss broke him. Ego like that doesn't accept humiliation. Jake Paul's name started trending globally, not for the fight, but for suspicion. People didn't talk about evidence. They talked about psychology. They asked what happens when someone who never loses finally does. What happens when control is taken away? What happens when humiliation goes public? Fair or not, the world decided the timing was enough. This is where the story became dangerous. Not because of facts, but because of belief. Fans said his brand was built on dominance. Losing shattered the illusion. Millions watched him fall. And when something terrible happens to the man who beat you, people start telling themselves a story. A story where rage replaces reason. A story where coincidence feels impossible. What Jake Paul said and why it didn't stop anything. Eventually, Jake Paul spoke. No anger. No denial. No attack. He said prayers to Anthony Joshua and everyone affected. This is bigger than boxing. To some, it sounded human. To others, it changed nothing. They said easy words after a loss. Too calm. Damage control. In moments like this, even sympathy is treated like strategy. Then, the veterans stepped in. Tyson Fury shut the accusations down hard, calling them sick, reckless nonsense. Alexander Usyk offered pure sympathy for Joshua and warned fans not to turn rivalry into hatred. Analysts echoed the same message. There is no proof, no investigation links Jake Paul. This is speculation fueled by emotion. But even they admitted one uncomfortable truth. If the accident hadn't happened so soon after the loss, the blame wouldn't exist. The facts are clear. No evidence connects Jake Paul to the accident. Authorities report no foul play. There is no proof of intent. But belief doesn't care about facts. Belief cares about timing, emotion, narrative. And once the world chooses a villain, truth becomes quiet. Did Jake Paul do anything? There is no proof. Was the accident planned? There is no evidence. But did losing that fight turn him into the most blamed man in boxing overnight? Absolutely. Because sometimes losing in the ring isn't where the punishment ends. Sometimes it's where it begins. And when the world decides you're guilty, surviving the narrative becomes the hardest fight of all. Some losses end at the bell. Others follow you home. Jake Paul says it was just an accident. But the internet keeps asking what happens when a man who's never lost realizes he can. Some men accept losing. Others carry it home. Coincidence or something snapped? For more fights, truths, and shadows behind the sports, follow Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. This is Fighters Arena Pro.